All right, well, for those of you who are watching later, good afternoon. How's it going? My name is Michael. I'm a yoga and meditation instructor here in New York City. And I'm going to be doing an easy flow today with a nice light meditation at the end. So I'm excited. Today's going to be like a kind of like a what I would call like a generic flow to help you release and find center. Not super, super challenging. I'll be offering modifications. I am working with two blocks and a blanket. And I'm going to give it a minute. If you're watching this later, feel free to fast forward. But I'm going to give it a minute and let some people come on into the room. And we'll give that. So, yeah, hang tight. I'm going to be chill and grounding my energy. Well, welcome in. Thanks for joining me for some light and easy yoga today. Um, so I'm going to give it another couple minutes just to let the room fill and let some folks come on in, and we'll get started. So I know I had technical difficulties last time. So if at any point I lose my sound again, I'm ready to adapt and be in the moment. So yeah, I'll get things started here in a moment. Making sure I'm ready. So if you are watching this later and you're not willing to like sit through till the end, let's take a moment to ground our energy together. So I'm seated on a meditation cushion, but wherever you're seated right now, just take a moment to relax in the hips. Feel how your connection to the ground is steady. And feel how the ground rises up to meet you right where you are. And feel that connection. Just become aware of it in your mind. See if you can be in that place in your body. The connection points to the earth with your mind. So bringing your awareness just to the seat. Hi, welcome in. Letting everything relax. Feeling that resistance to letting the earth take all of our weight. Feel how that softens the shoulders, the back of the neck, the jaw, the eyes. So I know last week I had some technical difficulties where I lost sound. I'm ready. If at any point I lose sound in the flow today, just throw up a comment that says "We can't hear" or something like that, and I'll be able to see it with my aging eyes. Um, so I have my two blocks. I have my folded blankets. Today's going to be a nice, easy flow. Um, there's a lot energetically this week that has everybody kind of in a heightened state, and the universe is sort of putting us right at this edge where our fear can come in really strong at us. And so it's the game. The name of the game is how can you be with that little bit of fear that you're just naturally going to have because you're a human being, and how can you allow that to help you stay balanced and steady? It makes me think of a sword that balances between the handle and the blade, and there's this allowing yourself to be with that part of you that kind of can smart, so to speak. um, and so our bodies are taking on a lot of that, and that's holding a lot of tension. So today is going to be about allowing the hips and the back and the legs to open. So yeah, so I'm going to give it one more minute just before we get started, just to see if we get any more folks in the room, give some people time. I know when we have energy like this, the day tends to kind of hmm, move at its own pace. But I know we do have a lot of folks who take this class later. So for those of you who are watching later, get excited for the energy. I'm in. So my student who's in here watching with me, we're going to do a little bit of neck and shoulder opening before we go into this. First, you're going to take the hands, interlace them behind the back right here, and have the heels of the palms together. You're going to bend the left elbow, place both hands on the right hip. So feel how tall you can be. You might kind of feel like you're hunching a little. Notice the two shoulders and the two hips. We're going to work with that rectangle shape at all times today. So pressing the hands into the hips, feel how nice tall you are. As you exhale, right ear falls over to the right shoulder. Noticing that space you create. Maybe you tilt the head a little forward and back just to feel how you can move that stretch into different parts of the neck. Notice how your tailbone can relax down into the earth. Maybe you're arching the back a bit. See if you can let that go. Then maybe turn the chin down towards the shoulder. Feel how that moves the stretch into the back of the neck. Keeping your breath moving. See if you can draw your breath through the side and back of the neck here along the temple. Notice how your exhales carry out what was holding there. Letting the chin fall down towards the chest. Release the hands, shoulders up by the ears, sitting tall. As you exhale, let it settle. And we'll take the other side. So interlace both hands behind the back. Take the other thumb on top this time. Bend the right arm. So both hands are on the left hip, sitting nice and tall. Let the left ear fall towards the left shoulder. Just bringing in that stretch. Noticing a little tilting forward and back. So notice what this brings in for you. I tend to end up holding my jaw pretty tight as soon as I start to stretch this area. See if you can soften, maybe behind the eye, the eyebrow, behind the ear. Let the chin turn down towards the shoulder. Lengthening out the back of the neck, feeling that space you create. Don't forget to breathe, because if you stop breathing, it all goes south. Let the chin fall down towards the chest. Release the hands, shoulders up by the ears, big breath. Exhale, let it settle. And let's get into it. So we're going to start in child's pose. Best way to begin. Our goal for our intention for this class today is about offering our energy the chance and space to fully ground, because that's the only way we're going to get all this gunk out of our body. And if you've been practicing yoga with me long enough, maybe you'll soon realize that the body is the mind. So we'll begin in child's pose. I'm going to be negotiating some space here in the New York studio apartment. My knees are wide, my toes are touching. Now I have sensitive ankles and knees, so right now I have a little bit of padding underneath the ankles. We're not going to be here too long, but we are going to walk the... And noticing when your body is ready to give you a little bit more. We're going to take a couple breath cycles to soften into this place. Notice how your own body yields into the earth. If you notice a part of the body resisting coming onto the mat and stepping into this part of the practice, I want you to, instead of feeling that resistance, honor that the body needs to come in on its own terms. Even though you set the intention, allow the body to take you there and go with you in the journey. So softening. I want you to pay attention to the space between the ears and the shoulders. All of this neck space should always be nice and soft and supple. You should always be able to lengthen out of the back of the neck, lifting the whole spine out of the crown. We'll take a big breath and walk our hands over to the right side edge of the mat, maybe even off mat's edge. As you exhale, left hip gets nice and heavy. Take big breaths into the rib cage. Softening the ears and jaw as you exhale. Walk your hands through center and over to the left side, softening. Using your breath to open the space. And if you're practicing with me and I breathe slower than you do, don't stress too much about that. Let yourself just honor a full breath cycle and know that there is no right and wrong. You can always follow along in timing and be in your own pace of it. Flipping the palms to face the ceiling. Draw the shoulders back and down. Create that space, widening, lengthening the ears. Let the palms be up towards the ceiling as much as you can manage them. Lengthen out of the middle fingers, the ring finger, the pinky finger. Feel how this opens up something inside the shoulders. And breathe into that space. Imagine that your breath is opening these joints. And as you exhale, let the palms soak down into the mat. From here, you're going to walk yourself on in to sit up nice and tall. If your knees are sensitive, you can place a blanket underneath. We're going to bring our knees to be parallel with the hips, and we're going to tuck the toes under. So if the toes are sensitive and this is too much for you, you're allowed to leave them untucked. It's fine. But we do call this intense toe stretch for a reason. See if you can get the hips to rest with the tailbone relaxed down, activating through the toes, feeling the back body expanding wide all around you. Take a moment here with this and notice how you handle that discomfort as it comes in, that little bit of fire. Do you observe it or do you buy into it a little bit? Seeing what's on the other side of it. And when you're ready, we're going to place the hands on the earth, tap the toes out, the tops of the feet. So give that a little tap release. See, I planned the padding so I wouldn't wake up my neighbor, right? So hands are directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Let's take a moment. I want you to think of having the longest point between your wrist and your shoulder. So notice that if you're hyperextended, you're not sitting into your joint, you're lengthened and lifted. From here, I'm growing the spine and I let my heart sink down towards the earth, still long shape in the arms. Roll the shoulders onto the back of the heart, then feel how the heart suctions up into the shoulder blades. It's like a plate of armor, like the Zords and Power Rangers. They're locking into place. Feel how that activates. It's It's a much stronger place for the joint. Press with the full hand into the earth and notice how much power already starts to run through your body. Keep the breath moving for this and start to tuck the toes under. As you exhale, belly button sucks up into the spine and you hover the knees 1 inch off the earth. Let the animal mind activate. Feel how that fire comes in. With a big breath, we step to that plank, lengthening out the body. As you exhale, lower down, knees, elbows in tight. You go to chest, chin. Grow out the top of the head, come over the tops of the toes into your first upward dog. Big inhale, lengthening, activating the quads. As you exhale, hips go up and back. Tucking the toes under, let yourself settle and pedal. You can move the blanket out of the way if you so choose. Start to sit into one hip versus the other. You're still pressing strong through the hands. The shoulders still on the back of the heart. All of the rules still apply, but you're not holding your jaw or your breath while you do it. So from here, you're going to start to walk the feet in towards the hands. Take your time. Take lots and lots of time. I'm going to go so slow, enjoying every step of the way. And when I reach that point where my flexibility means that I have to take all the weight in my feet, then I take all the weight in my feet. And then from there, I'm going to hook my elbows. Well, I'm going to fix my shirt, fuckers. And then I'm going to hook my elbows, soften in my knees, give myself that little sway, relax behind the neck. Let the top of the head be a nice weight. Feel how the breath still moves through the body. And gently release the sway, release the hands. You soften the knees, the feet melt. You shake the head no. You nod the head yes. You roll it around maybe so. From here, you bend in the knees, curl under in the pelvis, slowly roll on up. Take your time, 3 breaths. Press the feet into the earth. Feel how they charge into the ground. When you reach the top, shoulders up by the ears on the inhale. Let it all drape down the back body into the earth. Soften the knees. Feel how your weight comes back into the heels a little bit. Make sure that you're nice and grounded, relaxed into the earth. So I will say there is a lot happening energetically that makes us want to ground less. So notice that tendency. I'm going to do a little bit of a standing series. I want us to get into this back bend idea. So from here, we're going to place the hands right at the low back, just like feeling it on the small of the back here. It's like a little shelf for the palms of the hands. The fingers point down. While we're doing this, you're activating the glutes and activating pressing down through the heels. From here, you're drawing up through the low abs and sending the tailbone down. Feel how you grow the ribs up out of the hips. Feel the slightest back bend as the heart blooms open. I'm not going for gold here. I'm just lengthening up so tall out of my crown that I have to naturally bend back. Press into the feet, lengthen the spine to grow back up to center. From here, release the hands high overhead, big inhale. As you exhale, twist open to the left side. Left hip sends forward, right arm lengthening, left arm lengthening back. Big inhale up through center. Keep this right hip sending forward. You don't want to open it out. Open out and then twist towards the right side. So instead of letting things open like this, activating that. Big inhale in. As you exhale, feet should be parallel and hip width apart. Slide back into your chair pose. Hands come to heart center, shoulders on the back of the heart. Squeeze the glutes and draw the belly button up into the spine. So same idea as torso growing up out of the hips. As you exhale, forward fold over. You're going to hang out here. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Soften the knees. That flat spine really activated. Widen that. It's good for the core. As you exhale, belly button to spine drape over. Give me another inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands, step back to the plank. I'm going to angle down. You're in your plank. Big inhale into the heart. As you exhale, lower down, knees, chest, chin. Chaturanga through. Come to the upward dog, over the tops of the feet, lifting up through that heart space. My collarbones are wide, my heart lifting. Then as I exhale, hips up and back, let myself settle. So I'm pedaling, letting myself enjoy this moment before I go into my still down dog. When I inhale, I'm going to lift the heels, lift the hips. As I exhale, let the heels soften down. Maybe I take a little bend in my knees, just enough so that I can have a nice, sleek, straight spine. So I'm pressing the earth away overhead. I'm thinking of my sits bones, the 2 bones that touch the earth when you sit. They're reaching up to the corner of the wall and ceiling behind me. So if I haven't bend in my knees, great, that's awesome. Then, if you have the bend in the knees, breathe into your hamstrings like you have little lungs in there. Feel how that encourages them to open. So taking a big inhale in, full exhale out. From here, you're going to inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees, hips are towards the heels. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, heels soften. From here, lower the knees down. Leave the toes tucked. You're coming onto the heels, interlace the hands behind the hips, roll the heart open, big inhale. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale into the center of the chest. Long behind the neck. As you exhale, gently release. Hands come high overhead, big inhale. Exhale, open the heart for cactus. Little bit of back bend with the sun on your face. Tailbone is down for that. Hello, abs up. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to the earth. And hips on up and back. Take the down dog. So from here, we'll float the right heel up towards the sky, tracing it in, reaching out of the inner thigh so my hips are parallel, my toes are flexed, my toes are pointing straight down with my ankle flex. Big inhale into that heel. As I exhale, I draw the knee forward, knee to nose. I'm going to plant the foot between the hands and lower the back knee down, untuck the toes. And we'll come on up for our 90-90, hands on hips. Hug everything together, big inhale in. As you exhale, you're going to send into the front of the hip, the tailbone's still drawing down. So that same idea as you found in the back bend, you're using that to open the front of the hip. Inhale, gather everything into lift. Exhale, let yourself send. So soften in that back foot there. Feel how you relax between the toes and the soles of the feet. Let this tension leave the body. Last one, as you exhale, descend into the front of the hip. Arms come high overhead for your full crescent. Feel how you lengthen out of fingertips, out of toe tips. It helps expand the shape of your curve. As you exhale, nice wide cactus. Plant the hands, and you're tucking the back toe under. Find a lunge, nice and chill. So from this lunge, you're coming to pyramid pose, which means both legs straighten. The back foot comes in about a foot or so, and the back foot is slightly turned out. So notice that I don't have one hip higher than the other. I have both hips equal, which means my torso might have to come forward in space over the mat. If you have 2 blocks or even just 1, I love the blocks for pyramid pose. So each of my feet are in their own lane, lined up with their own hip. Feel how you're pushing this front leg towards straight. If either leg is going to be bent, it's the front one. And I want you to be okay with that if that's what you need today. Notice how if you do bend the knee, you have a chance to lengthen both sides of the torso. Make sure that's even. Feels good. Then you can start to encourage the leg to straight, noticing when you sacrifice that space you found. Who would have thought? Something in the pose you never would have found if you didn't modify first? Who knew? Yogis knew. Okay, so from here, big inhale. Feel how long you are in the neck. As you exhale, just step the left foot to meet the right. So chill. Lose the blocks if they're in your way. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, belly button to spine, drape over. From here, chair pose, sit it back, sweep it back. Feel the power of the legs activate and how it sends something down into the earth. Feel how the earth meets you and you lengthen out the top of the head. As you exhale, forward fold over. Halfway lift, big inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, take your plank. Inhale here at the top and let yourself chaturanga through, or just meet us in down dog. You can always take that option. Big inhale through to the upward dog. And then exhale, hips up and back. Nice and chill. Inhale, lift the heels, lift the hips. Exhale, bend the knees, hips descend. Inhale, lift the legs, or lift the hips. Exhale, heels sink down. So from here, lower the knees down. You can leave the toes tucked or untuck them. Come on back to the heels, or to sit onto the heels, interlace. Other thumb on top, heart rolls open, big inhale. Tailbone down, low abs up. Exhale, rinsing, opening the front of the heart, long behind the neck, big inhale here. Exhale, gently release the hands, send them high overhead, big inhale. Exhale, rinse wide with that cactus. Sunlight on the face. Place the hands on the earth. Pick the hips up and back, take your down dog. So we'll take the left side this time. Inhale, left heel comes up towards the sky. Hips are square, foot flexed, toes pointed straight down. Exhale, draw forward, knee to nose. Plant the foot between the hands. Lower the back knee down, untuck the toes. Come on up for your 90-90. Hands on hips. Hips hug together. Feel how that gathers that lift. The tailbone is down. Suspenders on. Feel how you send into the front of the hip as you exhale. Don't sacrifice the length you found here. Use the breath. Your inhales lift you. Your own exhale decides how deep you go into the front of the hip. If you go at the pace your breath dictates, you're going to like how quick the body goes with you on it. Big inhale in. Exhale, softening in. From here, take the hands high overhead. Exhale, give me a nice wide cactus. Plant the hands to frame the front foot. Tuck the back toe under, lengthen out behind the back knee. You're coming to that pyramid on this side, so the right foot comes in about 1.5 feet. Both legs straighten. The back foot is turned out slightly, taking those blocks, finding that even hip space, nice and long behind the back of the neck. Feel the shoulders on the back of the heart. Feel that expansion, how you get more space out of both sides of the waist. So use the bend if you need it. Notice if you're clenching in the jaw or holding behind the neck or behind the eyes even. That's a big culprit for me. Notice instead if you can allow things to flow and ride out on the breath. Taking a nice big inhale in. Exhale, step the right foot in to meet the left. Nice and chill. You're in a nice parallel forward fold. Easy, be breezy. From here, take the chair pose. Sit it back, sweep it back. When you're in chair pose, make sure you can always still see your toes. If you can't, stick your butt back a little further. Keep squeezing the glutes. So important. Feel that drawing up and in. As you exhale, forward fold over. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, you're going to plant the hands. Just step the right foot back for a lunge. Hanging out right here. So from here, you're going to turn this back foot to be on a 45-degree angle. And you're coming on up for warrior one. So rise on up. And I'm going to, I can't talk to people when they can't see my face. It's not my favorite. So I'm in the warrior one position, which means each of my legs has their own hip that they're in line with. It's like being on a pair of skis. This back foot is on the 45. It is not parallel with the back edge of your mat. Take your hands on your hips. If your hips are on the diagonal or even worse facing side, save that for warrior two. This 45-degree angle allows the right hip to still send forward. Both hips are facing straight front like a car in headlights. From here, take the hands high overhead, big inhale in. Exhale, give me that cactus arm, feel the tailbone down. Feel how that runs all the way, it draws up through the low abs and it opens up the front of this hip flexor all the way down through the leg. So from here, I want you to take your right fingertips, just place them, left fingertips, place them right along the right inner thigh here. I want you to feel the plane of your inner thigh. See that inner thigh plane spinning towards the wall behind you. It's going to help you get even more out of this. It's a subtle thing. From here, hands high overhead. As you exhale, interlace the hands behind the hips. Roll the heart open. I'm just reading this comment, making sure. Oh, great. Okay. I was nervous. Maybe my sound cut out again. Okay, so opening the heart open, big inhale. As you exhale, dive forward. Take the forward fold. Bow into the inside of that front thigh. Feel how the arms up and away from you helps lengthen out the back of the neck. So if your legs are really doing that work of hugging you in and letting you really stabilize from waist down, from waist up, whew, you get a beautiful release of energy. You'll gently release the hands. You're going to come back on up to warrior one. Big inhale in, pressing upright. And as you exhale, you're opening out to warrior two. So now we make the adjustments. Now you get on that surfboard, and now the back leg can be parallel with the short edge of the mat. So then you have where your front heel. This leg is, the toes are pointing straight over that front edge. My foot is parallel with the long edge, and the heel lines up right with the middle of my back arch. So I feel steady and ready on my surfboard. Notice the back body. So we tend to over-identify with the front, because that's what we can see in the mirror. But can you become aware of the whole back of your body? And can you maybe even expand that whole back of your body and feel how that almost draws you a little back in space in your weight? Maybe even feel how it almost feels like the universe is holding you. So feel how you can flip the front palm, inhale, reverse this warrior two. Lengthen out of the torso as you do this. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the earth, release the back heel off. And let's take a plank and an optional chaturanga. So from here, we'll lower down, knees, chest, chin. You can meet us in the down dog, big inhaling. Exhale, hips up and back, softening. From here, inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. Step, hop, float, find the forward fold at the top of the mat. We'll take a chair pose, feet are parallel, hip width apart. Sit it back, sweep it back, big inhale in, activating the outsides of the glutes too. And as you exhale, forward fold over. From here, step the left foot back for the lunge. The right foot is forward. Spin the back heel down to be on that 45-degree angle. Make sure that each foot has its own hip to line up with. Come on up, taking that nice, beautiful warrior one. So see the tailbone down. See the hips up towards the face. See how the right hip pulls back, left hip sends forward. Take that inside edge of the left inner thigh, spin it to the wall behind you. Feel how that lengthens you. From here, we're taking the hands high overhead, big inhale. As you exhale, nice wide cactus. This opens the heart space. Interlace the hands behind the hips.
Other thumb on top, roll the heart open. As you exhale, dive the heart in towards the inner thigh, bowing in, releasing out the top of the head. Let everything drain out from the hips, out up the spine, out through the neck, out up the top of the head. See it all like a spout right at the crown, draining and being done with. From here, gently releasing the hands, you're going to come on up, big inhale, finding that warrior one. As you exhale, you're opening out to warrior two, so make the adjustments. Front foot is parallel with the long edge, back foot parallel with the short edge. Heel lines up with the middle of the back arch. Settle in, cowabunga, bro. Hang 10. Notice if the shoulders are not stacked over the hips. Sometimes we have a tendency to lean forward into it. I can tell you what, if you're straining to breathe and it doesn't feel like ease to breathe, check that alignment. So from here, feel that expansion of your back body, become back body conscious. Feel all that space behind you, how it almost makes you taller. That reaching in all directions expansion does make you lighter a bit. Flip the front palm, inhale, reverse the warrior. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the earth, release the back heel off, take the plank chaturanga through, or I'm going to show you this version, just take the down dog. See, so easy to access. If you are taking the chaturanga, you can meet me here. And as you exhale, you'll settle into this. Inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. Step, hop, float, find the forward fold, bow easy. From here, take the chair pose, sit it back, sweep it back. Big inhale. As you exhale, press yourself to stand. Shoulders up by the ears, big inhale. Exhale, let it settle down. Let the knees soften, let the hips get heavy. Feel the feet melt in all directions. Take a moment to let your energy resettle. Feel yourself sort of stack back up again. And we're going to do those same poses again, but adding a little bit more and accessing a little bit more. There you are. So yeah, let's get back into it. We will head press the feet. Exhale, open out, twisting to the left. Big inhaling up. As you exhale, bow through, forward fold over. Inhale, halfway lift, expanding. Exhale, plant the hands, step the right foot back. You're in the lunge. Seal down for warrior one, so 45-degree on skis. Come on up, big inhale in. As you exhale, interlace the hands behind the hips. Roll the heart open, big inhale. Exhale, bowing in, take that humble warrior, nice and easy. So from here, inhale into the back of the heart. Long behind the neck, exhale, gently release the hands, full, exhale, release, leave the legs where they are. So from here, you're gonna take your hands, you're walking them to be at the right front corner of your mat. You're gonna take the hands wide, you're thinking downward dog in the upper body, warrior one in the lower body. So I'm pressing the earth away overhead, and I'm activating the crap out of my glute. I'm gonna angle this down so you can see a little bit clearer. This is about firing up this right glute and using it to rinse out what's in the body. So I have this counter energy where I'm pushing the earth weight overhead out of the hands. It's letting me lengthen in the body. I'm driving, especially through this outside edge of the foot, activating all through the outside edge of the left glute, letting everything pour out into the ground. When you're ready, you'll walk the hands back to frame the front foot. And cartwheeling up for warrior two, make your adjustment, let yourself settle in. So I have my surfboard, I have my feet lined up with the edges of the mat. I have my glute activated so the knee is going right over the toes, and I feel myself hang 10. So from here, I want you to think of dragging the feet towards each other along the mat, hugging them in. As you drag them together, you hug the legs up into the hips. You'll feel how that makes you taller. You lengthen out of the waist. Big inhale, it goes all the way out the top of the head. As you exhale, you release that and deepen. 2 more of those. Gathering lift, inhale. Last one, gathering in, big inhale. Ooh, there's a little shake there, good. Exhale, release. Inhale, straighten the leg. You're gonna swing the hips back towards the back of the room, reach out of the left hand as far as you can. When you can't reach anymore, you come to the earth for triangle, either placing hand on the shin, in front of the shin, behind the shin. You can use a block. Lots of options here. Just give yourself that space to lengthen and breathe. We are going to come to a restful position here in a moment. So while you're here in this space, you're pressing into the earth, you're squeezing this glute, it's rolling the hip open, nice long. When you're ready, you're gonna rebend the knee, come on up to warrior two, big inhale. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the earth, release the back heel off, From here, you're going to lower the back knee down. You can untuck the toe. Some people like to leave it tucked. Shift the hips back, take the hamstring stretch, bowing in, so making the adjustment if you need. My spine is nice and long. Use blocks if you need to be higher. I'm most concerned about the back of the neck. If it's nice and open and lengthened and spacious, then your hamstring stretch is good. I'm thinking of pulling back from the hip like a bow and arrow, feeling how that lengthens out the back of the leg. I'm using my soft breath and my soft jaw so that it all drains out. From here, you're going to rebend this knee, plant the hands, tuck the back toe, and from here, all you're going to do is step the back foot in to meet the right, or step the back foot in to meet the left foot. It's a forward fold, nice and easy. Bow. From here, take the chair pose. Big inhale. Exhale, take the forward fold, bow in. From here, you're stepping the left foot back, you're in the lunge. Seal the back heel down for warrior one. So it's that 45 individual skis coming up, big inhale in. As you exhale, take the hands behind the hips. Other thumb goes on top, roll the heart open, knuckles off the hips. Exhale, back. Inhaling into the back of the neck. Exhale, gently release the hands. You take them to frame the front edge, or the front left corner of the mat, and you're going for your warrior one in the lower body, down dog in the upper body. Press the hands away from the earth. Squeeze that right glute. Fire up all of this. Press it down into the earth. Feel how that fire drains out the upper body into the ground. Feel how that back edge of the back foot is sealed into the earth, leaving you stable. And when you're ready, you'll walk yourself onto the mat. Cartwheel on up for warrior two. Left fingertips lead the way. Getting our sweat on today. I turned off the AC so it wouldn't be too loud for you. And ooh, lordy. So now we have warrior two. Our feet are parallel with long and short edges of the mat. Let yourself settle into that hallway. You're dragging the feet towards each other, hugging in, legs hugging up into the hips, lengthen the spine. Inhale all the way out the top of the head. Exhale, release and deepen. Two more of those, gather in. It's like a plant drinking in from its roots. Exhale, deepening. Last one, gathering in. Softening, release. From here, straighten the front leg, inhale. The hips swing back behind you as far as you can. Reach out of the right fingertips. When you can't reach anymore, you come to place your hand on the earth and feel yourself nice and tight in this little hallway. I like a little bit of block for some extra space up off the earth. Gives me that sense of lift. I'm pressing strong through my right foot into the ground, and I'm squeezing this back glute. It helps roll the hip open and gets me more space out of both sides of the waist. Noticing how easy it is to surrender and open your breath, even in the tightest of situations. When you rebend the knee, come on back up. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the earth. Release the back heel off the ground. Lower the back knee down. Untuck the toes, shift the hips back. Take your hamstring stretch, bowing in. Noticing if it makes you hold behind the eyes or in the face. Any excess tension comes in, allow it to release. From here, we'll rebend the knee, plant the hands. You're gonna just come to sit, so you're sliding the shin underneath you and coming to a seat. From there, I'm gonna spin around and lower onto my back. You are doing the same. So, hugging knees into the chest to start. Taking a moment to massage the low back, drawing some circles, grounding the root chakra, if you will. It's a nice massage for the sacrum. You can switch the cross, switch directions, taking that moment. So, from here, you'll gently release, lowering the feet down to the earth. They are hip width apart. I have my heels as close to my glutes as possible. My shoulder blades are flat to the earth. It makes my collarbones nice and wide, my heart strong and open. I'm long behind the neck. So from here, I take a big inhale. It lengthens my spine. As I exhale, I press into the feet, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips. I push my feet towards the back or towards the front of the room. It sends my chest up towards my chin. Feeling how that lengthens the back of my neck, I move into my full bridge. Inner thighs are engaged, so I'm not flaying open. As I exhale, I'm going to gently lower down, soft and listening to our bodies. When you hit the earth, Go for happy baby. Grab a hold of the outside edges of the feet, knees nice and wider than the torso. Taking that moment, you can either rock or you can lengthen. I think of getting my whole back on the earth, so both shoulders, both hips, that full frame expanding, grounding me into the earth. Big breath. As you exhale, gently release the feet and place them back down. We'll do bridge one more time. Heels are nice and close. Inhale, shoulder blades are on the earth. Exhale, press the hips on up. So maybe this time you might interlace the hands underneath the hips and walk the shoulder blades a little bit closer, feeling how it opens up more of the front body. As you exhale, gently lower on down to the earth. From here, we're going to take dead bug pose. Both legs up, both arms up. Take a moment to shake out the limbs. It's real. It's a real thing. It's good for you. Flicking out the hands, wiggling the toes, rolling out the ankles. From here, lower the feet down. Right heel on up. We're taking a nice figure four position on either side. So ankle, the bone, not the joint, is over the thigh. Reach between them, interlace behind the hamstring on the left leg. Let the elbow flare the knee open. My heart is nice and wide. Shoulder blades on the back of the heart. From here, I draw the shape closer. It helps open the hip. I can be easy, rocking side to side. Just begin to notice how much more space the rest of the body has because the hips have had a chance to really open through strength versus just flexibility. Gently releasing that to the earth. Inhale, take the right heel up towards the sky. Exhale, take the other side. So left leg will cross over the right thigh. Hand reaches behind to interlace. Flaring open nice and wide. Creating that soft movement in the body if you need it. This is a good point to begin asking your body for any final poses it might want. You might want a twist or a plow or something before we move into Shavasana. And then we'll be doing a little bit of meditating from our Shavasana. And this will be about meditating on the breath and its movement in the body. So as you're coming to your Shavasana, you are welcome to find the easiest of easiest corpse poses. Something that you might like to make your Shavasana more comfortable. You might like having a folded blanket behind the head as a little pillow. One thing that some people like is if you have a little square, like folded up into a square, you can take where the diamond of the square can rest nice and easy in the space right here at the nape of the neck. It's a nice little like extra little something. If that's something you like, there are a lot of options. But don't be afraid to make yourself cozier for this time. Think of it as an you've ever had. And I'm going to move the camera closer and get myself set up to let you meditate in and settle. As you're taking those final poses that the body's asking for and receive those answers of what it needs. Just take a moment to notice already how you feel now versus when you first came onto your mat for this practice. And as you settle in, inevitably there will be places that your body's still holding tension. And there will be places that your body won't release at this time. When you catch yourself holding energy, I want you to honor that your body is doing exactly what it's supposed to. It's being aware and alert. But you have an opportunity to teach the body a new language. And you've been cultivating that in classes here at Breakout. So notice now that a language you can offer now is one of permission to be. Notice how the mind plays a game of worthiness. And instead, can you play a game of honor? So as we settle in, there's only one thing left to notice. Notice the breath in the body. The way it moves without you controlling it. Notice how easy the breath is to take over. When you watch it, you end up doing something with it. And if you catch yourself controlling the breath, simply suspend at the next inhale, right at the top.
And surrender into the exhale, feeling how the air spills out of you. And at the depth of that exhale, feel for that moment where you receive the next inhale in. Can you trust? Can you allow the body to do what it's been doing all along? Notice how good the breath feels inside the body. Delicious, even, in its experience. Allow your low belly to soften and feel how more air fills in, spills in, allowing the ebb and flow to increase. Feel how the wave of your breath sifts in and out of you. And as you begin to notice and indulge the breath, begin to indulge the spaces between. The space between the inhale and the exhale. The space between the exhale and the next inhale. Feel how your breath expands into not just a simple in and out, but a cycle. Feel how your breath continues to expand. Feel how your breath draws beyond the pelvis and down into the legs, into the knees. Feel how this draws your inhale up from the nose and throat and lungs, up into the mind. Feel how your breath permeates more of your body. Beginning to coax your inhales all the way down, brings the air all the way up to the top of your whole body, inhaling, whole body exhaling, the whole body taking in new, the whole body exhaling out old. Indulge in the power for a few more moments. I'll mind the time and call you back shortly. And gently deepening your next inhale. Softly bringing your awareness back into the here and now. Becoming aware once more of the four walls around you, the ceiling above you, and the floor rising up to meet you, to hold you and support you. Slowly awakening the body by wiggling fingers and toes, letting that all grow into circles and the wrists and ankles, and the next thing you know, putting it back on slow as you re-enter. Take a moment to find your, take that moment just to notice how you feel now versus when you first came onto your mat. And honor yourself for every bit of that. It takes you showing up and doing the work, right? Planted in the middle of your week, in the middle of your day. Look at that. You are halfway done with the stuff, and look at you, slayed. I'm proud of you. Thank you. Feel free to give this video a nice like. You can share it with your friends. Make sure you're telling your friends about all here with Breakout Studios. It's really powerful, wonderful humans. And I so am glad to be a part of it. All right, so with that off, Peace and blessings from here in New York City. And next week I might be seeing you from a new location. Who knows? All right, with that, you are light, you are love, you are meant to be here. My name is Mindful Michael, signing out. I'll see y'all next week.